University's Riddel Hall in Belfast was the venue for a conference organised by the Equality Commission to debate the key issues of women's economic independence in Northern Ireland. The event, entitled Getting a Fair Share, put the spotlight on the many challenges facing women in securing their own financial independence, as well as the changes needed to ensure that this happens. Around 100 delegates from across Northern Ireland heard speeches at the event, addressing a wide range of issues, including women in business, education and employment, childcare provision and the impact of welfare reform and the economic downturn.
I think it's very important to be at conferences like this and discussing women's economic independence, because I think it's only when they have that independence that they can fulfil their potential in life. It's good for ourselves to come out to listen, because I think it's very, very important that we listen to individual women, we listen to groups and organisations that represent women, and I think that events like this here bring that out and actually they challenge us.
Well, my main points in what I was trying to address today was that women make up 51% of Northern Ireland's population. They have 80% of the control of purchasing power, and yet we still don't see equality in women in senior management positions, on boards. For example, if you think of the monetary committee that decides the state of the nation, there's no women on it at all, and yet we have an increase in MLAs here. So there are some successes, and I'm trying to say don't rest on our laurels. Some people think it's all done, and I think there's still a challenge to say let's move on, let's try to challenge some of the obstacles that women find. My second area is what are the obstacles, and that's around things like childcare, to have affordable, accessible and appropriate childcare. There's 1/3 young people in Northern Ireland under the age of 14, and there are not enough affordable and accessible childcare places. And 2/3 of women actually say that's one of the main reasons that affects their ability to return to the workplace.
Well, really the reason I'm here today is because women have a very important role to play in terms of developing the economy. We're in a recessionary period, things are difficult. If we could harness the talent that females have to play in the workplace, that would be an extremely useful element. Also harnessing the role of leaders in terms of helping companies to understand the demographics. Women are very important consumers, and businesses don't always understand the buying preferences of females because women are underrepresented. So my message was very simple, and that is, let's make sure that we maximise the value of women in the economy, not because it's a nice thing to do, but because it makes sense. In terms of the ordinary problems that ordinary women face, I think we need to remember that we're all ordinary women and we all face those problems. So, whilst nowadays I might be able to afford my childcare, I also went through a situation where I had to deal with childcare issues as well. So we can all relate to the issues those women are facing.
It's very important to be debating women's economic independence at this time, because even though we as women have made some movements in society, women's economic independence is really under threat at the moment. Firstly, in terms of downsizing the public sector to move to the private sector, women form 2/3 of those who are working in the public sector, and therefore women are going to lose jobs. Secondly, the priority areas for growth that the executive have identified, such as the IT sector, are 80% male. And therefore, if we downsize public sector and we're growing certain areas in the private sector, these have actually not been attractive to women.
It's incredibly timely to come here today to talk about women's economic independence, and I have to absolutely applaud the Equality Commission for having this event today. I mean, for me, the recession in particular has had a detrimental impact across many vulnerable people. But I'm here today to speak about women, and by extension, I suppose, children. And because of cuts to benefits and tax credits, women and children have been particularly hit and particularly impacted on because of welfare reform. We address a number of issues. We address childcare, we address women in business, women in work. And my message was really about women and social security, and because so much of women's income is actually subsidised by social security and benefits. And we have a new benefit coming in called universal credit, and my message is very, very clear. Make sure that that payment is paid to the main carer in the family, the main carer of the children, or to the second earner, and don't remove the money from the purse to the wallet.
Today, the main points that I was trying to make in my speech were about how we support women through education, both before they are into education, during education, and what we do post-education in terms of employment and how we support women to upskill again later on in life. I think the main kind of thing that I was trying to get across today was about the science, technology, engineering and maths, and the disparity between the number of women who are actually studying at A-level and GCSE level and who then go on to work in the STEM area. We know that the government is prioritising millions of pounds and investing in this area, but yet women are just not getting through the glass ceiling, and we have to work out why that is and take measures and steps to ensure that we do encourage women through the ranks and that we invest properly in the women's sector.
It was very important for the Equality Commission to hold this event today. Very important moment for us all in Northern Ireland to focus our energies and our commitment to look at what more needs to be done to progress gender equality in Northern Ireland, and in particular women's economic independence. It is clear that the importance of the programme for government addressing growing the economy has to be matched with and underpinned by a concern for equality, and women who make such an important contribution to the economy here have to have measures in place which enable their full contribution. So we've heard from speakers this morning talking about the importance of a childcare strategy which would ensure affordable, accessible, good quality childcare. That's key to women's participation in the labour market. We've also heard some of the challenges that are around at the moment for women's economic independence, such as the welfare reform proposal. So today was a good opportunity to have an informed discussion about some of those challenges.